rallyfm.net.
So then, the Clark of the course has just been through the Red Bull Kendal stage, which is about to get underway once again. The zero car is on the stage start. I can do some updated times from the earlier stages this morning, the first two anyway. I can't go after the... which I can add them up in a second. So we started the day with Digicel Malvern West, the top 10 times through there. Chris Meek, 1:36.78. Paul Bird, a tenth or so slower. Paul Bourne, fourth quickest, 1:38.35. Paul Bourne, third quickest. Steve Perez, fourth. Kevin Proctor, fifth. And that started Paul Bourne chipping away at Kevin Proctor's overnight advantage. Jeff Panton with sixth. Barry Gale, seventh. Roger Hill, eighth. Neil Armstrong and Ian Warren completing the top 10 times on the stage. First run through here, Paul Bird was fastest, from Paul Bourne, Chris Meek, Roger Hill, Trevor Manning, who'd obviously had a problem on the first Malvern stage because he was way down the times in the sort of mid-20s. Barry Gale, Kevin Proctor, Steve Perez, Jeff Panton and John Power in Group M, the top 10 through here. The order therefore having changed after the first run through here this morning. The overall top 10 at that point before they went into the second Malvern being Chris Meek still leads, 38.38.13. Now about 19 seconds ahead of Paul Bird in second place. Paul Bourne, who reports having had a burst damper all day yesterday, and the car is now performing significantly better from our reporter at the end of Malvern, is now up to third place. 39.45.88, a second and a half ahead of Kevin Proctor. Roger Hill is now fifth, Jeff Panton sixth, Trevor Manning seventh, Barry Gale eighth, Neil Armstrong is ninth and still leading modified 8A as the zero car comes into our sight up there by the chicane, and completing the top 10 and highest placed two-wheel drive car, Ian Warren in the Swift. Chris Meek was fastest on the Malvern stage that has just been run by 1700ths of a second from Paul Bird, with Proctor third quickest, Paul Bourne fourth quickest, but Proctor not taking the same sort of chunk out of Paul Bourne as Bourne had already taken out of his, if you see what I mean. With Micey fifth, Jeff Panton sixth, and he'd stalled during our first running of this stage. I would ask the young lady walking up the stage to do it very quickly because a very large and very fast rally car is about to arrive.
Run!
Thank you, darling. The top 10 completed by Barry Gale and Steve Perez on the last running through the stage. Turn right would probably be a good move now. A couple of speeds through here on the first run through Kendal, the highest speed logged on the Geo Orbis GPS, 196 kilometres an hour, which is Paul Bourne, with Barry Gale and Trevor Manning both on 190 kilometres an hour. And on the fastest point of Malvern, and I can't quite think where that would be, Chris Meek 181 kilometres an hour fastest, Paul Bourne, Trevor Manning 172 kilometres an hour, equal with Phil Collins in the Escort 166 kilometres an hour, which isn't hanging around for a little old red car, is it really? Micey, much happier towards the second half of yesterday until he had a drive shaft problem towards the end of the evening, and obviously right on the pace today, except I still don't know what it was that had occurred in the first Malvern, and we didn't have a remark from him. I don't think he's talking to our reporters, Micey. So 46 left in the overall running, and there were another 20 or so floating around in the Sunday Cup. The results crews have been working back at Rally Control, which is at Cullerton in Paul Allen's office today. And Chris Meek is on the stage, so we will be looking out the hill. Don't stand in the middle of the road, you foolish man.
rallyfm.net.